All right, let's jump right into this explainer and decode the legendary, decades-long lifespan of Japanese cars. I mean, we've all seen it, right? 20-year-old Toyota Corollas, Honda Civics, and Suzukis just cruising down the road, running perfectly fine day after day.
When you see these older models effortlessly blowing past 300,000, 500,000, or literally even a million kilometers with proper maintenance, you really have to ask, is it magic? Are these engines running on pure wizardry? Do their components use some sort of indestructible, highly classified material that other brands just can't get their hands on? Well, let's just go ahead and debunk that myth right out of the gate. There are no magical engines or materials here, guys. The real secret isn't magic at all. It's actually a relentless dedication to strict quality control, incredibly simple engineering, and rock-solid production philosophies. Brands like Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mazda, Subaru, and Suzuki, they earned this reputation through pure sweat and hard work, not magic. To really uncover how they pull this off, we're going to follow a vehicle's complete life cycle through 5 crucial phases: design philosophy, the manufacturing secret, extreme testing, the maintenance factor, and finally, the final verdict. All right, phase 1, design philosophy, or why boring is actually better. So, starting right at the drafting table, these engineers make a super intentional foundational choice to prioritize absolute reliability over flashy momentary trends. Instead of cramming in complicated tech just because it looks cool in a brochure, or rushing unproven experimental systems into brand new models, Japanese manufacturers kind of just hit the brakes. They carefully wait, they thoroughly test and tweak existing, proven technology instead of reinventing the wheel every few years. This conservative engineering massively reduces the chance of you, the buyer, becoming a real-world test driver. It really just boils down to this exact mindset. Sometimes being boring is actually a good thing. Think about it. Every single extra sensor, motor, or fancy electronic system is literally just another point of failure waiting to happen. A simple, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with a tried-and-true fuel system, it's just way less likely to leave you stranded. A car simply doesn't need to be exciting to be highly reliable. And you can really see how this plays into their engineering strategy through a concept called the margin of durability. Now, Japanese manufacturers absolutely can build crazy performance engines. Just look at the Nissan GT-R or the Honda NSX. But for your standard family car, they'll design an engine capable of handling serious horsepower, but then they intentionally tune it down to a relaxed 200 horsepower. Doing this creates a massive safety margin. It drastically cuts down on mechanical stress, helping those components last a whole lot longer under daily driving conditions. Moving on to phase 2, the manufacturing secret. It's honestly fascinating how that conservative, reliability-first mindset translates straight to the factory floor, where the cars are actually put together. The Toyota production system absolutely revolutionized global manufacturing with Kaizen, which is the philosophy of continuous improvement. The goal here wasn't just to churn out cars as fast as possible, it was to build them efficiently while completely slashing waste. Instead of waiting for some massive problem to become a huge, expensive disaster, literally every single employee on the assembly line is empowered to spot tiny issues and improve the process on the fly. Over time, thousands of these microfixes add up to a monumental difference. The logic here is a brilliantly simple loop. Step 1, find the mistakes early on the line. Step 2, fix them right then and there. And step 3, guarantee that a defective product never, ever leaves the factory and makes it to a customer. This laser focus on strict quality control was so wildly successful that rival companies all over the world started actively studying and copying these exact Japanese production methods. But hey, the manufacturing secret doesn't stop at their own factory doors. They rely heavily on an incredibly strong supply chain. A car is made up of thousands of individual parts, right? And these manufacturers refuse to just scrape the bottom of the barrel for the absolute cheapest components from random vendors. Instead, they build really deep, collaborative, long-term partnerships with their suppliers. They share quality goals, so if a supplier spots an issue with, say, a brake component or a tricky sensor, they actually work together to fix it, ensuring a way better overall component for the final vehicle. Next up, phase 3, extreme testing. Once the car is actually bolted together with all those perfectly matched, continuously improved components, it rolls out of the factory to face the ultimate reality check. The big, overarching goal here: survive years of real-world abuse, not just the first week off the dealership lot. Engineers brutally push these vehicles. We're talking heavy loads, freezing cold, blistering heat, and totally unpaved, dusty mountain roads. They need to know exactly what happens after years of punishing everyday use, because at the end of the day,
an owner just expects the car to start every single morning with zero expensive surprises. And this extreme, real-world testing is exactly why cars like the Toyota Land Cruiser, the Hilux, and the Suzuki Alto absolutely dominate in developing markets. Whether it's the high heat of the desert, totally destroyed mountain roads, or the chaotic, heavy traffic in developing markets like Pakistan, these simple, durable vehicles are trusted to survive. They thrive in incredibly harsh conditions where highly complex luxury vehicles, the ones packed with expensive tech, might just glitch out and completely shut down.
All right, phase 4, the maintenance factor.
So we gotta ask, what happens when the car finally makes it off the test track, gets bought, and is sitting right there in the owner's driveway? Remember, a car doesn't just magically last forever on its own. It only survives if normal people can actually afford and manage to fix it. The massive global popularity of these Japanese cars has created this incredible, highly accessible maintenance ecosystem. Because there are so many of them out there, mechanics everywhere know exactly how to work on them, spare parts are literally everywhere, used parts are dirt cheap, and independent garages deeply understand their engines and simple automatic transmissions.
There's a hugely important human element to vehicle longevity. Simple, common designs naturally encourage owners to repair their cars, not just abandon them. Think about it. If your car needs one ridiculously complex part that ends up costing more than the entire car is worth, you're going to stop repairing it, right? But because parts for these cars are so affordable and the engineering is so straightforward, if a water pump breaks, an owner will happily just swap it out and keep driving for years instead of sending the whole shebang to the junkyard.
Which brings us to phase 5, the final verdict. Bringing all of this incredibly deliberate engineering and manufacturing together, we really need to address the absolute biggest misconception out there. Listen closely. Japanese cars do not last longer simply because they are Japanese. I know, shocking. But nationality is not some magic wand that grants unlimited mileage. The specific model, the engine type, the transmission, how you actually drive the car, and how quickly you fix little problems, all of that matters immensely.
It all comes down to one simple reality. A neglected car is going to fail early, absolutely 100% of the time, while a well-maintained car is going to last you decades. Honestly, a meticulously maintained German or American car can easily last for hundreds of thousands of kilometers too. The true secret to decades of longevity is combining that robust, conservative Japanese engineering with a dedicated culture of routine maintenance from the owner. That killer combination right there, that's what creates a car that truly goes the distance.
So now that we've broken down the exact formula for this incredible longevity, from the patient drafting table to the strict factory floor, all the way to the owner's driveway, I want to leave you with this final thought. Out of all the legendary models we've discussed today, which Japanese car do you think holds the ultimate crown for reliability of all time? Is it the trusty Corolla, the Civic, maybe the unstoppable Land Cruiser? Think about it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.